Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Can we talk about Gem and the Holograms? Welcome again. Welcome. Can we talk about podcast here, delivering our special faux expertise to you, sitting you down, rambling about a show that neither of us were alive to watch at broadcast. That show, of course, being 80s cartoon, air quotes classic, Gem and the Holograms. I am a doctor, not a mechanic. My name is Joe.
I guess, Captain Kristen Picard of the USS Enterprise. Why not?
Whoa, pretty good one. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I rank higher than you.
And we are, of course, experiencing Gem and the Holograms via Shout Factory's Gem and the Holograms, truly outrageous, complete series box set, as well as Netflix for Kristen, which thankfully does not give us completely different viewing experiences like Blade Runner did.
Gem would be a lot different if there was a voiceover for Jerrica talking about how she calls Rio sushi.
And that he's the type of person to call black people the N-word.
Yeah, we don't want to go there with Gem. We're going to keep our hands right off that.
Washing my hands of it.
Let's go. I don't want to think about that.
That is me attempting to wash my hands over sound by clapping them.
Yeah, theater of the mind.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. Radio. This week on Gem, we're shipping off again. We're going somewhere else again. Can't stay in LA. The show just goddamn cannot stay in Los Angeles.
We're jet-setting.
We're jet-setting off to the Island of Deception, which I don't think I need to tell you, Kristen. When you hear the title of Island of Deception, you kind of assume that it's like Eric or the Misfits doing it, possibly, but it's not. It's Gem deceiving the Misfits.
Yeah, like an island that was man-made and full of factories with mechanical, like Island of the Giant Pokemon.
Like Island of the... This is not... I fucking wish this was Island of the Giant Pokemon, let me tell you.
Island of the Giantess Pizzazz.
And they're all robots, and wasn't there like a Charizard roller coaster or something, or am I thinking of that wrong?
I don't remember, but
there was a roller coaster in that episode, and a Charizard, but I don't think it was a Charizard roller coaster.
Yeah, you just should have seen as Island of the Giant Pokemon came to me, as I realized that's what I was describing. The biggest smile came over my face, and for a few seconds I was blissful.
But now it's time to dig you right back into that hole of we got to deal with this episode. So
I like this episode.
It is. Yeah, I shouldn't speak illy of it. It's a very contentious episode with me, I think, because I like it, but I really don't. So
yeah, well, there are back and forths that we are gonna discuss.
Yes, indeed. But here it is. This week's episode of Gem and the Holograms, Island of Deception, written in all capital letters because it sounds like a B movie. Time for the theme song.
Big stock footage of an explosion.
So we start off, written by Mary Screens. Mary Screens!
Screen!
She's doing a lot of work this season. I think is this her, fourth episode she's written?
Yes, girl been busy. So, the fact that she's still pumping out stuff like Island of Deception at this point, she must be full of ideas. Christy Marks was like, yes.
Yeah.
Again.
She's not Christy Marks
You've been
busy,
putting good ideas on the whiteboard.
But she is damn busy. We start off here. We are at port. There's a very white cruise ship, I noticed, with the only color on it being like a blue smokestack from far away from the far out shot. Rio and the Holograms are all getting on the cruise here, and we see the orphans who are all waving them off, and I like there was also a wide shot of all the orphans waving goodbye, and Ashley has her arms crossed because she's a bitch.
Well, there are a couple of the orphans, as we see, thinking like, where they get to go on a big ass boat? Why do we have to stay? Why do we have to come and wave goodbye to them?
Who's gonna bring them back? I didn't see Mrs. Bailey there. I didn't see Irish Synergy taking them back.
That's a good thing to note. This was a perfect opportunity to have Miss Bailey there. She was not.
Not in that shot. What a shame. We're already starting off. You could tell it's going to be one of those fucking identity crisis episodes because the very first line of the episode is Rio stepping onto the boat saying, "Where's Jerrica?"
This one also irritates me a little bit because Rio is actually, he has some laser focus in this episode where he is like, yes, my girlfriend who is Jerrica, instead of being worried about Jem primarily. So he's got his priorities straight in this one, which is only irritating because it will not take long for them to become askew again.
Well, yeah, I have a problem with that in regards to Set Your Sails, but we'll get to that eventually. We see the Misfits getting on the cruise as well, and that also tells you that basically everything's fucked from the beginning of the episode.
That boat is a disaster boat.
This is going to turn into a disaster boat. We've upgraded from the disaster boat to the disaster cruise.
Yeah, so, well, I guess it's a very little boat ends up being the actual disaster boat, but disaster abound.
Eric is carrying all of their luggage too, and I was so excited to see Eric in his terrible shirt, probably ready to, soak up some sun, and he has maybe 3 lines in this episode.
He needs to get away now that his only son that he has around is Tech Rat, and Tech Rat just smells like Cheetos and corn nuts.
I was gonna say Eric is taking this cruise to deal with that Hawaiian jailing of Zipper.
So sad. Pizzazz is speaking out loud about how she is convinced that there must be some reason that the holograms are going on a boat to this island that they're going to instead of taking a plane. So she's like, they got something up their sleeve, I know it. So Pizzazz is basically a Jem and the holograms truther.
Pizzazz and Roxy are really, really paranoid in this episode for some reason.
They smell all that publicity and they're like, I want some too.
Like, we're not gonna let them get all the credit, all the fun. Yeah, Eric wanted to fly because that's what normal people do, but nope, because Jem and the holograms are on a boat, the Misfits gotta go on a boat too.
Oh no, we have to take a cruise. Also, then again, Pizzazz has like 10 other boats and they're 5 times bigger.
Pizzazz is just like, I own a Disney boat, so fuck off.
Yeah, there's a water slide on top.
As the cruise is setting off, we cut back to the orphans real quick, and for some reason Ashley's just like, I want her to go, and Chrissy is just like, fuck, they got the tickets and we don't, deal with it.
Yeah, which would make sense if they talked more about, like, this being a purpose for a performance, for something that they're doing, but then Rio gets to go too, and he's not in the band.
And Jerrica. I mean, I guess Jerrica's their manager, maybe, kinda?
Jerrica I could live with. Also, did they need to get an extra ticket for Jerrica?
Oh, yeah, wait, how did this work? Where did Jerrica go onto the boat and, like, here's my ticket, and then she jumped off the boat and had to go reconvene with everyone else's Gem?
Why are you all wet, Gem?
I thought I'd take a dip before, getting on the cruise.
This is like gross dock water. There's, like, fast food wrappers in there. Yeah, I know.
It's bracing. Very cold.
This is how I like to wake up in the morning.
We cut to Jem now meeting with the holograms in her cabin, and Aja is immediately shitting on her, just like, yeah, who's going to join us on the deck, huh, Jem or Jerrica?
Jerrica has, like, whole plans, I guess. It's still a bad idea to try and do her alternate identity do-si-do thing on a boat that is not very big, but she sounds like she's like, no, I thought this out.
I mean, from what we see her say in the episode is basically, whenever Jem's around, Jerrica's taking a nap, and whenever Jerrica's around, Jem is taking a nap.
It seems like both Jerrica and Jem have clinical depression.
Or narcolepsy.
So either way, they sleep too much, both of them.
Jerrica also brushes off. I mean, I read way too much into shit, so I assume Aja's comment is supposed to be biting, and Jerrica just disregards it entirely and answers it seriously. And she's just like, I think Jerrica deserves some quality time with her sweetie.
Ew.
I mean, we see that it does happen.
Yuck. Are they gonna kiss? Ew.
Ew, they're gonna look at the sunset together. Gross.
That's so nasty. Get a room.
So we cut to now a scene of the Misfits at the pool, and my favorite shot of the series thus far happens, I think.
I know what you're talking about.
We get a close-up on Pizzazz's face, and she's wearing her Bret Hart sunglasses, and we see a very like a shot of a diver reflected in her glasses, and he hits the pool, and for some reason this diver is not a very good diver because he causes a lot of splash, and it hits Pizzazz, who was standing a good 6 feet away from the pool, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's not very logical, anything that happens here, but it looks good.
It's very artsy-fartsy, and I like it. Also, Pizzazz calls the boat a crate here as well, and I don't understand, like, this, is that a thing?
She has nicer ones.
Yeah, you're probably right. Pizzazz's divers are all really professional on her boats. They're not gonna go splish splashing, taking a bath. I don't know the rest of the lyrics to that song.
I have synchronized swimmers on my boat. They don't make nary a splash.
And they make a
10
picture.
out of 10.
They make a picture of my face while they're swimming, and it's like, these are good cocktail wieners.
Oh man, I want to go on a pizzazz boat.
Rio and Jerica are walking by at this point, and Roxy is. This is where it comes up again, like, ooh, they're only here to do something stupid in public. I bet. And Stormer's just like, well, what if they just think walking on the boat is romantic, dumbass?
Nope. Or
No.
I guess so, because then we cut to Jerica and Rio, who, I guess we join a staring contest already in progress, and then they kiss, because neither of them won.
Well, hey, that's how you settle a tie in a staring contest. You look at each other deeply in the eyes, and eventually you're just gonna lock lips. It happens.
For real, especially when you have nothing significant to say to each other. Apparently.
So, how about that weather? Yeah. Kiss.
This is a boat. Yeah. It's a boat.
We fade to below deck at this point. Rio waited until exactly this moment to be like, oh yeah, dinner that's happening in like 15 minutes. We got the captain's table. And Jerica's like, feeling a little sleepy. Gonna go do that. But Jem, she's gonna love that, I can tell.
She doesn't even say anything like, I'll get room service. It's just, no, food? I'd rather not.
I'm just not gonna eat. I wonder if once they get thrown overboard, I wonder if Rio's thinking she didn't even have dinner. She's gonna starve out there.
That's probably why you grew that purple stubble so fast.
We cut to dinner now. Jem arrives at the captain's table, and Pizzazz, who is wearing gigantic earrings, I noticed, is incredibly pissed that Jem and the holograms get to sit at the captain's table.
I love her big-ass boomerang earrings.
I think they're great. That's the Misfits are wearing like kind of matching outfits. I don't know what they're like. I call them pantsuits, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's their, forget the exact coloration. Roxy has a pink one, Stormer has a yellow one, and Pizzazz has a purple one, I think. And they're not exactly like Misfits colors, but they're all wearing giant earrings too, and I really like the way that they look.
Yeah, and we see the captain table with Captain Not to Neil Warren, who got a Gem album from his granddaughter, and now the holograms all take turns talking about how cool it is that he loves them so much. Oh, we're so famous. It's awesome.
Now, you see, I took that in a different direction, where it's just like, oh, yeah, the crew members have our posters plastered everywhere here. And that immediately went to me going, like, sailors with posters of women on a boat.
They shouldn't be quite as happy about that. Contest, you guys. Come on.
When Pizzazz also asks the waiter who comes by why Gem and the holograms have to sit at the captain's table, the waiter's just like, hey, the captain likes their music, and Pizzazz fires back with the bulletproof, the captain is a jerk.
Yeah, so they all are having great small talk about the boat, where Gem throws Rio a bone to be like, oh, well, Rio has been on the boat. What parts of the boat did you like best, little boy? And Pizzazz starts screaming because she hates the boat.
Yes. You couldn't be more different, these two here. Rio, lover of the boat. Pizzazz is throwing food everywhere, calling it lousy, service lousy, and the music, strictly funeral, which is...
And I would know, because I have caused many funerals.
I've stepped on a lot of people as a giantess, let me tell you.
So I'm not a fan of that music. It reminds me of death.
So Pizzazz ends up, I guess, digging herself into a hole here, because the captain is like, oh, well, we have famous rock group Gem and the Holograms here. Why don't you play us a rock and roll song about a boat?
Joe, I have a question.
Please, Kristen, what is your question?
So do you think that the captain knew that this would irritate the Misfits and still thought it was a good idea to have Gem play to piss off the Misfits? Or did he really not know, and Gem and the holograms were like, yes, let's play a song. That will not infuriate the Misfits.
You know what, Kristen? Gem and the Holograms care more about the fame and the glory than they do pissing off the Misfits. They deal with that later.
Glamour and glitter, fashion and fame.
And now, here's where we get to song one of, well, okay, it's not exactly the beginning of song 1 yet. For some reason, there's there's instrumentation in the background, and as they get up on stage, Jem gives this weird speech about how, like, the sea is so romantic for some reason, and then we start Set Your Sails.
Yeah, she does this weird, like, lounge singer monologue where she's like, hey, how you doing tonight? We got any couples in the audience? Oh, you're beautiful. Where are you from?
You like
and
you
it's
like
really
boats.
awkward.
You like how romantic boats are?
Who doesn't like boats? I mean, right, folks? Except it doesn't really go that jaunty.
No, unfortunately. Set Your Sails is a very slow song.
It's boring. It's like, hey, Kimber, write a song for the fucking boat. It's a fucking boat, dog. Set your sails for adventure.
There's a very prominent...
I wasn't charmed by this song.
No, I was not either. I felt better about it on the second listening, but the first time it's really kind of slow and boring. And at the beginning, for some reason, there's a very prominent, like, boop sound that I don't know if it's, like, percussion or a key that Kimber is hitting, but it's very odd. Like, it's mixed, like, right at the front of the song, and it's very obvious until the song starts picking up and it just goes away.
I like the, headcanon that Kimber just puts, like, sound effects on her keyboard, where, sometimes it'll go, and sometimes it goes,
There's an uncomfortable zoom in on Jem's eye for some reason, and there's a boat in there! It's like a pirate ship, and they're all dressed in, like, pirate regalia. Set your sails for adventure, people.
Seems like it would hurt to have a whole boat in your eye.
Eye of the beholder. I don't know. Fuck it.
No, you're thinking of pizzazz.
You're right. In her own mind's eye, she is the sky. I forgot, but that's her mind's eye, not her actual eye.
So physical versus metaphysical? Ooh, this got deep.
Hey, sparkly bird. Look at that sparkly bird flying across that appears in the music video a lot for some reason.
Oh my god! I love bird!
I gotta say, it's kind of jarring where everybody's dressed in pirate regalia and Shane is still playing electric drums on the boat.
Yeah, also, this particular song has, like, I think it's because the percussion is so light in this song, but they make it really obvious that they're just having, okay, how do we animate Shayna playing the drums? She just goes boop, 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 which is not how the drums sound at all in the song. They're doing, like, things. I used to play percussion in band in middle school. I know what I'm talking about.
I mean, it's definitely just easier if you just kind of move Shayna's arms only slightly so it looks like she's hitting the things. They don't have the budget for her to, start going into a fucking Neil Peart drum solo.
I know.
There's imagery of Jem and Rio spinning into the infinity of space like their fucking dance when it's only her and the music. Jem and Rio kiss as well through the viewfinder of Kimber's telescope. This is the whole thing with Rio and Jerica are the couple in this episode. It's, Jem is not hanging out with Rio, and yet here in Set Your Sails, they're fucking kissing.
Rio got that eye candy.
Our lips and hearts will be united is one of the lyrics. Fuck off. Aj's guitar shoots out some kind of fucking weird, like, Yellow Submarine 60s wind that turns into the bird that ends up landing on her hand in a different location.
Yeah! Thank gosh, his guitar is on drugs, you guys.
Well, this is all taking place in Jem's eye, remember, so Jem might I don't know what Jem's feeling right now. We don't know what sort of effects Synergy actually has on her brain, so she could be on fucking LSD for all we know.
She ate some bad shellfish, now she's like, oh, fucking birds and shit.
She thinks she's singing Set Your Sails, but they're trying to do, like, Jealousy, but it's not coming through, and she's singing Set Your Sails, and everybody just kind of stops, and Jem falls off the stage, and it's a great viral video.
Yep, and then they all jump into the water trying to save her, and that's how the actual meat of the episode starts.
Yes, of course. The Misfits are an illusion the entire episode.
They were inside of a snow globe.
That was a pretty whatever song. I'd said 4 out of 10. It might be higher, might be lower, depending on, when you listen to it. It's a kind of... I mean, obviously, you could tell after 20 episodes here, ballads aren't really our thing. We like more high-energy shit, so almost every, like, ballady hologram song is going to be met with pretty much an eye roll, at least from me.
I can't help that I don't remember them or like them very much, because I always fall asleep during them.
So everyone claps, and then they leave. They just leave.
Yeah, apparently, show's over, dinner's over, see you later, get out.
I mean, weren't they still eating? Come on!
Nope, they were like, set sail for adventure, please, I'm going to Bermuda. Set sail for leisure. Or, I'm sorry, leisure.
Ooh, leisure. Yeah, they head out onto...
Leisure.
They head out onto the deck here, I guess, and Jem's like, "Oh, I'm gonna change back real quick. I got a date tonight." And Kimber, with all the subtlety of a fucking bull in a china shop, is just like, "I think you mean Jerica has a date," as loud as fucking possible when there's a dude standing like 8 feet away from them.
Yep. So good thing no one uses their ears. Listening is also for poor people, apparently, because it's fine, but there's a shady ship man. Is there a better word for that?
He's mustached discount zipper again, and he's an evil looking guy in the sailor, dressed as a sailor, a member of the boat or whatever, and he comes over and he's just like, "Yeah, the captain's having a birthday and I'm using the same voice as Zipper, but I don't care. You gotta go surprise him."
Yeah, that should have been Zipper, and I'm upset it wasn't. Also, he was clearly evil. You think the holograms would have caught on to the evil voice by now, but apparently not.
Well, he was actually, what was his accent was like Australianish or something, right? So maybe are we conditioned to, like, he could have had an eye scar and the holograms would have been like, "I trust this guy."
They also zoomed in really close on his face, and he was wearing that kind of face.
But the plan is for him to corral all of the holograms into a lifeboat, and when the captain walks by, to pop up and sing "Happy Birthday," which sounds suspect.
If it's a real surprise, it's a bad real surprise.
It's a bad real surprise. They don't have a cake for him or anything. They're just in a boat. That's it.
Why couldn't they have hidden around the corner?
Exactly. That could have worked too. Like, having a lady band jump out of a boat to sing you, I don't know, whatever. So this guy walks away, eye scar, mustache, discount Australian zipper, and he walks over to Pizzazz, and Pizzazz just hands him some money. Apparently we learn his name is Krebs.
Good name.
I thought she said...
Trustworthy name.
I thought she said crabs at first, and I was like, what?
Location appropriate. Perfect.
The sea version of Zipper. You got your land Zipper, and you got your sea Krebs, and then you got fucking Hawk in the air, who we never see. He was a season 3 character. Season 4.
They're the new Avengers, right? I think that's how that works.
The Zipengers.
Yeah.
That was terrible. I'm sorry.
Directed by me, Kristen.
Pizzazz hands him the money, and then, he's just like, "Hey, I'd love to do business again sometime." And she's like, "Yeah, no, get the fuck out of here." So I want to know how slimy...
Go away.
I want to know how slimy this fucking Krebs character is that he gets that kind of reaction out of Pizzazz.
She has contract goons. He was just a freelance goon. She doesn't need that kind of business.
She doesn't trust freelance goons either. They're not good like Zipper was.
God rest his holy soul.
Pizzazz moves out the lifeboat that the holograms are on. Like, they kind of sneak over, and I don't know what exactly the plan is. It's just basically Pizzazz is just like, "It's a little practical joke. It's just a prank, bro, that we're gonna do on the holograms by moving out the lifeboat." I don't get what they're trying to do.
Also, she hits numbers on a number pad, but they're circular buttons, and apparently Pizzazz clearly doesn't know what she's doing because it doesn't do what she wants it to do, which we don't know what that is. Great. Awesome plan.
The holograms are all kind of like they hear somebody coming, and they're like, "Oh, here we go, time to jump up and say surprise." So they jump up and say "Happy Birthday," but it messes with the lifeboat thing and makes it kind of drop down a bit. And then I don't want to say the impossible physics thing kind of happens that we get from that we had in the Rock Fashion book and In Search of the Stolen Album. It's because something just happens where I don't know what the hell happens, but Roxy falls onto the boat and Pizzazz...
Well, Joe.
Okay, go ahead.
Roxy was leaning on it like she was half sitting on it, and as it starts to move out, I think Pizzazz tries to grab it as if she thinks that with her Hulk strength she can pull it back.
Clearly not the case, though.
Yeah, so these very lightweight women instead are dropped overboard, basically.
Yeah, Stormer tries to reel it back in, but stops that to grab Pizzazz's ankle, and all of them fall into the ocean.
And apparently Stormer can't swim.
I mean, it looks like she can't swim, because she does go underwater. Yeah, segment 1 ends here with Stormer going underwater, and we have the rare occasion of a misfit looking like they're dying, and not a hologram.
It is okay, because it's a cartoon.
Segment 2 starts, Stormer drowning already in progress. It's at this point I'm like, wait a minute. Jem is neck deep in ocean water right now, and the earrings have not shorted out.
It's conditional, I guess, because when she's fully submerged in the water, there's problems, and when she gets splashed, there are briefly problems. I don't pretend to understand how any of this works, and I'm sick of theorizing about it.
No, you're right. I could have sworn they specified salt water, and I'm assuming the ocean is salt water, but whatever.
You would think.
Jem swims underwater, and yes, not even because of the water or anything, but because, like, there's so much water that it blocks the signal. While she is diving down to rescue Stormer, she turns back into Jerrica.
Yeah, and Joe, I told you prior to watching this episode that the way that this drowning saving was animated is, like, the most romantic thing in this series.
Incredibly
Do you agree with me now?
romantic. This should have been Rio down here that she's doing this with. Holy fuck, they're like all swimming around each other and looking longingly into each other's eyes. Oh my god.
And like embracing. It's beautiful. Also, speaking of Rio, he didn't hear all that screaming? Wasn't he waiting on deck for Jerrica?
He was still at the captain's table, Kristen.
But dinner was over.
Rio had to take down the lights.
Rio was being negligent.
Jerrica makes it back to the top of the water, and thankfully there's like nobody looking at her when she resurfaces, because it takes like a second before she becomes Jem again.
Nope, but they rescue Stormer, it fades, and then they wash up on an island instead of anyone on deck hearing them all screaming. It's a full boat.
Not only that, we start with Jem like making an arrow out of wood before passing out due to exhaustion or sleeping or whatever. And
my art!
they wake up later, and Jem is immediately like, I think Stormer saw me as Jerrica. I don't think it's gonna be that big of a problem if they just kind of, wave it off when Stormer brings it up.
Joe, I have a question.
Go ahead.
It was nighttime. Underwater. How good are Stormer's eyes?
And she was drowning, and like she was to the point where she was passed out by the time she got back up. So how could that have not been just her imagination or a hallucination or something?
Like, I don't like that their, kind of thing ends up anyway being Jerrica was totally there. She must have just done that. We're gaslighting you, Stormer. But like to have just said, nah, you probably just were misremembering it is like a much gentler way to kind of cover up that secret, isn't it?
I mean, considering what Jem has to go through to keep up the lie that she tells in a second here, considering Pizzazz and Roxy were like, Jerrica wasn't there. The holograms could have been like, what are you talking about? Jerrica wasn't there.
And everyone would have agreed. But nope, that's too easy. We have to have something stupid happen.
Aja even suggests as well, like, it's, before the Misfits wake up, make a Jerrica hologram. And Jem is like, a hologram is not the answer, which is completely goes against everything that she's probably, every situation that she has faced up to this point as well.
Also, what happens at the end of this episode, near the end of this episode.
Not only that, but tell that to fucking Rio, who she used a hologram to get out of that situation. Bitch, Jesus.
Whatever. We have to tune into Survivor Glam Rock Edition. So the Misfits wake up, and everyone is really mad that they have to work together.
Pizzazz only has one sock on, I noticed, which is great. Pizzazz also instantly accuses Pizzazz also instantly accuses the holograms of plotting something because they were all just kind of whispering at each other while they woke up.
At some point, I almost feel like Pizzazz's paranoia about the holograms is justified because, like, every time Jem sneezes, Lindsay Pierce is there, like, tell us about your sneezes, Jem! So half the time they get press, it is by accident, but they get so much of it that it must be coordinated.
Isn't that the problem of the media, Kristen? Is that can't be Jem's problem?
There's blame to be shared.
Kimber's like, no, we're all about surviving. We gotta survive. And Pizzazz could out-survive all of these fucking beanpoles, so just let her go into the forest. Or the jungle or whatever.
Stormer wonders... forest jungle. Stormer wonders where Jerrica is, and everyone has our big discussion that we talked about before, where they're like, Jerrica wasn't there, and they're like, yeah, maybe. She's in the forest. Arrow. Girl Scout.
I like how Stormer is also like, Kimber, isn't Jerrica your sister? Shouldn't you be worried about her, that, like, she's missing?
Nope.
Roxy and Stormer, notice that the wooden arrow that Jem built before, they surmise that it's just like, Jerrica went into the jungle. Why did she do that? And I love the face that Kimber makes when she turns to Jem and she's like, yeah, why did she do that?
Please tell us, Jem. I'm pretty confused about our logic leaps were taken here.
And Jem covers it up in a very messy way by saying, Jericho was a Girl Scout, so she's probably going up on to the highest point on the island to signal a ship or a plane or whatever.
And she didn't think to make sure no one was dead first, so good friend.
Pizzazz is all ready to go to this plateau and everything, but Jem is like, a little late in the day, don't want to get caught in the jungle at night, so let's make camp here.
Aja has a first aid kit, I guess, that I was in the boat, washed up with them, maybe?
We did see the first aid kit, fall out of the boat when they all kind of fell into the water, and it was in frame when Stormer was drowning, so they wanted you to know it was there. And then it, washed up on the beach with the holograms, so when Aja says, hey, look what I found, she didn't really have to look very far, considering it was right next to them, a few seconds ago.
Not that it really matters, anyway, because they don't use any of the stuff inside the first aid kit, even though part of it is, useful to their situation. Not that we see. Anyway, it's just used as a plot device that the Misfits can steal it later.
Well, no, because, Shayna does use the fish hooks. She does some sweet Wonder Woman, lasso action with the fish hooks later, I'm pretty sure. Or, in the next shot.
Why don't I remember that at all? All I remember is Kimber and Pizzazz catching a fish with their arms.
That's the other thing. Shayna's not very successful because, they catch a fish with their arms. Jem mentions, hey, we gotta make some food and shelter, and Pizzazz is just don't tell me what I need on this desert island.
Pizzazz would rather die than cooperate with Jem.
But nope, they gotta form an uneasy alliance. Just this once, the Misfits and the Holograms working together, super partnership. Shayna immediately leaves the conversation because she's like, I'm gonna go fish. And Jem is like, all right, okay, well, Roxy, you can help me build a shelter. And everybody all kinds of goes off in their own directions, and Pizzazz is left alone there.
Yeah, she's like, what do I do? Even though she doesn't want to be told what to do, so, comedy.
It then fades to Kimber kind of looking at the tiding pool while Pizzazz is just, being all pouty and shit. Being like, we're gonna starve. This sucks. This is a waste of time. We should just die.
I always wanted to go out like this.
Starving on an island. And then they do their little thing here, like you were saying. Kimber finds a fish that... Does she, grab it, or does it jump out into Pizzazz's arms, basically? Because I don't remember what exactly happens.
Kimber points to it, and they both jump in after it and, play hot potato with the wiggly fish that doesn't want to die for these rich people. And they get it. It stops flailing once it's in Pizzazz's arms, which I assume means that the poison Pizzazz secretes from her skin was ultimately its undoing.
She had some spikes come out from her elbows, which she killed it instantly.
Delicious. It's a natural marinade. That's why they said it was so delicious. But anyway, they take it, and Kimber's basically like, what the fuck do we do with this now? And Pizzazz is like, I'm gonna take care of it. And it turns out what she does is skewer it, I guess it's hamburger ways, through a stick. She kills the fish with a stick.
As if she didn't kill it already. So she brings the fish over, speared down hamburger ways, as you said, and says, feast your eyes, peasants. And for some reason, Pizzazz, who 5 seconds ago was like, oh, we're not going to have any food. They have this giant-ass fish. They got a bunch of, berries and shit that Stormer was carrying. They got a feast.
Yeah, I'm also not sure at what point it happens for everyone, but in the middle of surviving, they find time to all put great, beautiful jungle flowers in their hair.
They're really making the most of being stranded. They seem like they're having a great time at this point, actually, which is, those holograms, they always see the positive side of things, I guess.
That's called privilege.
We also see, as Stormer walks away, that there is a warthog. And Shayna comments...
Lord of the Flies!
Shayna comments back at the fire that this is the best fish she's ever eaten, and Kimber responds by just going, and that's it, basically.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. Yeah. I wrote down, ew, Kimber, stop that.
Pizzazz takes all the credit for the fish as well. Then again, she did kill it and spear it, so I understand why. Also, the warthog sound starts happening, and somebody even goes, oh, what was that? But Pizzazz is just like, fuck that. No, put more flames on the fire. It's time for a Misfits song.
I'm talking, but nature can wait. Also, a lot is 2 words, not 1.
Yes, song 2. It takes Allet, which we will play for you right now.
It
So that was It Takes a Lot. I really like It Takes a Lot.
It's good. It sounds like a real song.
It does. That's the best part, is it sounds like a real song.
And it starts off with a sweet-ass Sailor Moon jungle transformation.
Yeah, did you notice these outfits from another possible music video involving a jungle, Kristen?
Mm-hmm.
I believe I have even written down in my notes here that this song is Welcome to the Jungle, but good.
How dare you? But I do agree.
There's also a sweet dancing fire woman pizzazz at the beginning.
Appropriate.
Shayna's on a boat with a lantern. The Misfits' eyes are glowing deep in the brush, and it's, more a jungle woman imagery, basically.
Yeah, Pizzazz falls onto a spider web where there's a giant spider, but Pizzazz ain't afraid, and it turns out it's actually a small spider.
I don't know what the transition is in this little thing here, because yes, Pizzazz falls down a hole onto a spider web, what looks like a giant spider web, and she's about to get fucking eaten by Shelob, but then we turn away, and either Pizzazz became a giantess, or it really wasn't that giant, because she just blows it away, too. She blows away a whole spider web and spider.
So you know what another really strange part about this song is?
What is that?
Pizzazz appears to be singing instead of yell chanting.
Oh my god, you're right. We're breaking new ground that we're probably
That's
almost
why
never...
it sounds so different.
Probably we're never going to get back to this.
Probably not.
We have Kimber wandering alone, and Stormer appears hiding behind a giant tribal mask or something, which tribal masks show up again later, but I don't know.
They don't need me there. That's all I really have to say about it.
We have Jem running in Pizzazz's eye reflection on like a crumbling stone path, and for like the tribal mask, the crumbling stone path, this is all very Crash Bandicoot for me.
The first one, right?
I don't remember which one had a... I don't know if anybody... I know a lot of like the rune kind of levels were in the second one, but I don't know if there were any specifically with like a path that went out under you while you were running.
Oh yeah, because I just remember the first one was mainly the island, or at least that was the first level of the first one.
Yeah. But this is all kind of Crash Bandicoot stuff. Jem grabs onto a vine and swings across as a crocodile snaps, not anywhere close to Jem at all, which is also... I had wondered for a long time where this shot came from, because it's used in the Jem Girls opening.
You're right, it is.
Because I always thought it was from Starbright, because that was the, vine swinging on that one, but I didn't realize it was from this.
Now we know. The Misfits are dancing, summoning horrible jungle spirits from the fire to do their bidding, I guess.
The holograms are all kind of watching intently as this is happening, too, with the dancing in front of the fire, summoning spirits and shit. And, Kimber even has, I'm pretty sure, her hands are on, the bottom of her chin, wow, this is so interesting.
Man, Jericho never taught me any of this shit.
The fire transforms them back into their ruined pantsuits now, and for some reason, in the middle of the song, Pizzazz grabs the first aid kit. They decide to put that part of the plot at the end of the song, and I have written down here that it's probably from all of the second-degree burns that she got from the fire transforming her.
So I guess it was all a distraction. They were like, you gotta be tough. By the way, I'm stealing your shit.
It takes a lot to survive in this world, especially when I can distract people and take their survival things.
Haha, petty theft.
The holograms wake up the next morning, and they find that the Misfits are gone!
Whoa, who would have thought?
We learn that Pizzazz grabbed the first aid kit because that's how... They're like, oh, the Misfits are gone! Oh, the first aid kit's gone! I guess when Pizzazz picked it up, she was stealing it!
2 + 2 = 4!
So they all head into the jungle, and the Misfits, they left, I guess, early in the morning because they assumed that because Jem said Jericho was in the forest to, find the plateau or whatever, that Jericho's planning something this is all going to turn into a big publicity stunt. Jem kept them out of the jungle because she did not want the Misfits in on the action that Jericho was going to get, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. So this is where I made the note the first time about how, to be fair to the Misfits, almost anything the holograms do makes the paper.
You're right, and this would have made the papers too, and because the Misfits were involved, it's just going to be Jem and the holograms and other girl group get lost on island.
Yep, so I don't blame them, but they get attacked by them warthogs.
Yep, Warthog Stampede, that's another thing, yeah. Crash Bandicoot 1 had a warthog, so that's why I think of that too. Huh.
Yes, it did, you're right.
Segment 2 ends Stormer looking like she's going to be trampled. Stormer really having a fucking rough go of it in this episode, nearly dying in both segments.
Yeah, this episode has basically been, let's see if we can make Stormer a little bit more grateful.
And let's shit on Stormer too, because of what happens to her in segment 3 as well.
Yep, so things not going great.
Not for my favorite character, no.
Sadly.
Segment 3 starts. The holograms hear the Misfits all screaming. Pizzazz and Roxy, when the holograms find them, Pizzazz and Roxy are up in a tree, and Stormer's still on the ground while the Warthogs have stopped. And
they're giving Stormer conflicting advice too, between run away and nope, just stay there. And Stormer's like, awesome, this is a great situation I found myself in.
Jem makes a hologram elephant knock over some hologram trees, I guess, and scare them all away.
It's stupid and I don't want to talk about it.
The physics of a hologram going through Okay. No, we'll just leave it as is.
Is the hologram dust it kicks up hologram? Tell me. I want to know. No, I don't.
Pizzazz and Roxy climb down from the tree, and Kimber's like, hey, you shouldn't have left. You jerks. We gotta survive together. And Roxy takes this the wrong way and is just like, yeah, you think your cream puff sister Jerica can survive there and all alone where the Misfits are fucking tough? Get out of here.
I like cream puff sister. Jerica does kind of look like a person, but a cream puff.
Well, that's why she has those suits with the wide shoulders. She needs to look like a linebacker.
Perfect. Yeah, that's how she establishes dominance.
Stormer has Warthog PTSD and looks at Jem all romantic again when she's just like, hey, are you okay? And Stormer's just like, yeah, fine.
Things are great. I'm doing awesome.
Stormer then also convinces Pizzazz that they should stay with Jem and company again. And Pizzazz takes this as like, yeah, we'll keep them close so we can protect them when the time comes because we're the Misfits and we're tough.
Yep, Pizzazz is the mama bear. And they get a rolling.
We cut to a new scene, which I don't understand why this happens, Kristen. I don't like this seems like it should be the beginning of a montage, but things aren't moving quickly enough to be a montage, and they bring it up late. I don't know. Fucking a spider gets on Kimber's hand, and Stormer knocks it away, and Kimber's just like, "Oh, Stormer, that's great, thanks." And Stormer's just like, "Yeah, cool," and that's it.
That's how they fell in love.
That's where it all started. Kimber was writing "I'm okay" in her brain, right there.
In your brain, Joe Kimber's brain.
I'm writing "I'm okay." I want to be in a band with Stormer.
Don't we all?
And then the next thing happens where there's like a bunch of mosquitoes coming around him, I guess, and Roxy's even like, ooh, lousy, crummy jungle. And this is where I'm like, oh, so this is where, they're braving the perils of the jungle, and then they show up at a watering hole. And that's the end of that.
It's delicious.
They did comment that, yes, fresh water was delicious, did they not?
I think so, yeah. How is it fresh water? I don't get it. Are there really, reservoirs of just not salt water in islands? I mean, we're from Pennsylvania.
I'm not a geologist.
I don't know a lot about. I don't know a lot about jungle islands.
I'm not an oceanologist. I'm not a fucking cartographer. I don't know how it fucking works.
Well, there's the water. They're all really excited about it and start wading through it, ignoring that Jem went into the water in the first place. Maybe if she kept, her shoulders above water, the earrings would be okay. But it shows her washing her hair in the waterfall. Fucking idiot.
This is also where I commented, yes, so salt water doesn't short them out, and neither does fresh water. So I guess writer dependent. It's fucking, I don't want to talk about it. It is what it is.
Synergy just must be in there like, nope, don't worry. I happen to have it this time.
Whatever.
Hologram thumbs up.
Kimber asks when Jerica is going to show up as well for some reason. I don't know why this happens, Kristen. I really don't know why.
Yeah, me neither.
Because Aja is about to be attacked by a snake. And Jem makes a hologram Jerica up on a tree, swinging in, presumably on a hologram vine, going, "Bonsai!" For God knows what reason.
She needed to say something. Maybe Jerica panicked and she was like, oh no, what's a cool thing? Say something cool, say something cool. Yes, bonsai.
I gotta save Aja. I gotta say something Japanese while I'm doing it.
That's terrible, Jerica.
The hologram Jerica then makes also like psychic eyes at the snake, and it gets intimidated and runs away.
Yeah. She like stares at it sparkly, and then the snake's like, oh fuck, it's a hologram.
I'm scared of that, and then runs away.
Ah, technology. I am but a simple snake.
Jerica's showing off for the Misfits here. You know, but Kimber's like, yay, great, good job, Jerica. And Pizzazz is just like, what a fucking show off. And that she has a lot of nerve. She specifically says, like, where do you get off swinging in on a vine?
For real, like, Jerica really is being an asshole. Hologram Jerica. I don't see the point in being like, oh, look it, you thought that she couldn't survive by herself? Guess what? She can.
She's queen of the goddamn jungle.
I colonized this island by myself.
Not only that, she does the whole Broadway magic thing of running away, and people chase after her, and then she's, you know, fucking dissipated by the time that they're like, oh, where'd she go?
To the plateau.
Oh, fucking whatever. We cut now to everyone sliding along the rock wall, sidling against it like it's fucking Wind Waker. And
I knew that's where you were going with that.
Pizzazz has spent the last 40 minutes uninterrupted screaming about how much she dislikes Jerica.
Justifiably.
Justifiably, you're right. She got shit on there, not in, like, for no reason, basically.
Yeah, and she does scream and call Jerica a creep.
Which she is. You're right. So again, creep has been reserved for Techrat, Zipper, and Jerica. That puts her in the same class
like
as
good
those
company.
guys. I know! God!
Says a lot about how the Misfits correctly perceive Jerica.
So they get to the top of the plateau, and there's a cabin here, or like a hut or something, I guess. It looks kind of nice, actually, to the point where I was just like, wait a minute, is this some kind of fucking... Is this going to turn into some, like, most dangerous game thing where there's a guy with, like, a mansion on this island?
Island of the Giant Pokemon.
Oh my god. There's tribal drums
There's
playing.
a Pikachu in there!
There's tribal drums playing, and they say, we're gonna surround the house, but then they all just walk in through the front door anyway.
Yep, and there's a phonograph playing drum-heavy music, and Pizzazz just kicks it straight over.
And for some reason, this is where the most baffling character in all of Gem, possibly, makes his appearance.
No!
No?
No, because we still haven't gotten to Renaissance Woman, but so
fuck.
far...
Oh, don't remind me of Renaissance, okay. So far, the most baffling character in the history of Gem. This man jumps in from the window with a tribal mask on going, Auga! Auga!
Yeah, it's really racist.
I found it incredibly troubling as well. Not a good look for this guy. Not a good first impression for Mr. Angus Bean.
Which is a fake name.
Which is a fake-ass name. His tattered sneakers also give away that he's, a real human being. And the Misfits all bum rush him and are about to beat the fuck out of him, as they should.
Uh-huh.
And he explains, Mr. Angus Bean does, Bean, whatever the fuck.
It's Bean.
Bean, okay. That he is a hermit on this island since he got his heart broke. But that's all over now. And he looks at Stormer, and Stormer, like, looks away because she's just like, this charming man who just did a fucking racist tribal thing at me.
Stormer, he's dirty and homeless. Please don't.
He's no fucking... Look at his shoes! Jesus Christ!
You could do better.
He speaks of love at first sight to her, and, like, he's being so on the nose with this, too, that I thought he was gonna do the thing of just where Stormer assumes that he's talking to her, but he's talking to fucking Gem or somebody. But no!
Nope.
No, this is all... fuck. I hate... This, I might be biased. I love Stormer, Kristen. I do.
I know you do.
I really...
It's okay, Joe. This is stupid, because then they, like, kind of get up and go arm in arm, and they just let the creepy man take Stormer away.
This
Thankfully,
fucking goober asshole.
Their whirlwind romance is interrupted because Kimber, ever perceptive, is like, "Do you have a phone?"
Oh, no,
and
Kristen,
even Angus Bean is like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
You missed the best part of this too, where after Stormer and Angus walk out arm in arm,
we forgot.
Kimber walks over to Jerica, or Gem, excuse me, and puts her arm around her and goes, really reminds you of Rio, doesn't it?
Yeah, he smelled bad and had bad facial hair too. You're right.
Oh, God. Oh, get me out of this show, please.
This episode has some big ups and some big downs.
Oh, God. So, yes, this is where Kimber's like, can we use your phone? And Angus is, of course, like, are you fucking kidding me? I do have a radio transmitter.
I don't like him, but he is within his rights to be like, no, dumbass.
Did anyone ask where Jerica is up on the plateau yet, or did this whole like encounter with Angus Bean derail everything about?
Nope,
like...
they don't care.
So he dusts off this radio thing and he's like, hey, I got a little lonely and I tried calling a ship for like a whole month and I didn't get anything. And this is the point, too, where I'm like, okay, so Jerica's going to do something stupid with Synergy to make... We've seen her do audio stuff before. I wouldn't be surprised if she somehow fucking amplifies the signal or whatever for them to get to the boat, but that doesn't actually happen.
Nope. Good. The good news is that the holograms are the main characters of this cartoon, so they get help within hours.
All right, so here's the thing, Kristen. Would you have been angry if she used Synergy to, like, boost the signal or something?
Well, she already used Synergy a decent amount in this episode. I don't know how I would feel about that. I feel like I would be fine with it. We knew they were going to get rescued anyway. We're running out of time in this episode.
Right. All right. Yeah, okay. See, that's the thing. Because Angus, like, prefaced it with, like, oh, I tried so hard, but I never got anything, that's when I think... Like, it's not like... The fucking, what was the World Hunger Shindig where just it starts playing over the PA system for no reason with like no fanfare?
Yep.
All right, well.
So I guess it's within the realm of possibility, as unfair as I think it is.
The Misfits have basically given up at this point too. They're Gem's like, oh, we could take shifts calling for a boat, and the Misfits are like, yeah, count us out. And
I'd rather die here.
I'd rather leave Stormer with this creepy beardman.
And Stormer's like, yeah, I'm in, because she is just full of island cabin fever.
Yeah, I believe I wrote down that Stormer was island crazy at some point, because she's just...
She definitely is.
God. Roxy and Stormer are also, like, still belligerent towards this dude, because he's still trying to put the moves on Stormer, and he, like, pushes them out of the way so he can get to her, and I'm surprised that Pizzazz didn't, like, bite his neck and rip out his fucking throat.
I guess she had enough murder when she... got to go to town on that fish.
She filled her murder quota. No more for today.
Yep, it's sanctioned by the government. She has to follow it. That's how she is still out in the world and not locked up somewhere.
We see a fade at this point. Gem has been trying for, I guess, hours. And we cut to... Now, I have written Purple Stubble Rio. I gotta tell you, Kristen, I am very disappointed by Purple Stubble Rio.
What, his 5 o'clock shadow... that is purple wasn't gross enough for you?
It looks like 5 o'clock shadow. It doesn't really look purple.
It totally is.
It looks like 5 o'clock shadow.
Maybe
to me.
you're island crazy.
Maybe. Fuck. Seeing the shit happen to Stormer and making me island crazy. God.
He has gross purple stubble.
All right. Okay. Different strokes for different folks. It just looks like normal 5 o'clock shadow to me. Rio's just, yeah,
Rio looks like nasty Kool-Aid to me.
Rio looks like hell. Because he looks like he should have a cigarette in his hand.
I lost 2 girlfriends.
They get
to the sea. Goddamn you, Poseidon.
They get Jerica's message, Gem's message, and I wonder, do you think Rio noticed when he heard the message over the thing, like, oh, that's Gem, or, oh, that's Jerica?
I think it depends on the mood that he was in.
Oh, mood he's in.
Also, he couldn't be bothered to respond, actually, because the boat coming is a surprise to the holograms and the Misfits.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Jesus. Because, yeah, they don't say anything, because the guy who's, like, the board operator is also, like, pushing a bunch of buttons while Jerica's transmission is coming through, and Rio just, like, gets all excited. He's like,
I guess they're, like, triangulating her location or something.
Maybe, yeah. He's just like, I'll go get the captain, and he goes and he shakes the dude's hand as well. I don't know why. Maybe he was really cool.
I love you. I mean, I'm sorry, I really miss my 2 girlfriends.
Eric and Rio are spending some quality time on the boat, we see at this point. They're standing near the bow with some binoculars, and Eric's like, I can't believe it! The holograms and the Misfits are working together! And Rio, with the most casual line delivery I've ever heard, goes, and let me see.
I would also like to point out that Eric does not have any stubble or 5 o'clock shadow, which means he was really not sweating the fact that the Misfits were gone.
If anything, he should have been like, you fucking kidding me?
I was so close. God damn it.
Rio comments that he does not see Gem or Jerica. Everyone has, like, ran to the edge of the plateau, like, waving the ship in, except for Gem, who is standing on the porch of the hut. And when Rio takes the binoculars, he sees Gem and Jerica, which, thank God, Eric didn't see Gem create the Jerica hologram.
Yeah, because that would have been bad, but they were holding hands and waving. They run back into the house, and Jem goes, switcheroo synergy. Rio's gonna want to hug his girlfriend. And man, she is lucky that Rio wasn't thinking, I cannot wait to hug Jem.
I'm surprised that the one time that I actually write down that they do a hologram do-si-do in my notes that you don't refer to it as that.
It's because she calls it a switcheroo, and I thought that was really funny.
Jem runs off into the water and embraces Rio, and that's it. They're rescued, pretty much.
Yep, and they go back in the little tiny boat. Eric did not come out to meet them because he could give a fuck. He's canceling all those calls he made to insurance companies about his band that died.
Yeah, Tech Rat wrote their obituaries and everything.
And he's gonna put them right up next to Zippers, even though he isn't dead, he's just in jail.
R.I.P. Pizzazz, she wouldn't stop touching me.
Yep. So, Kimber insinuates that maybe the Misfits and the Holograms could be friends after this. And Stormer seems to be thinking about it, but Roxy is like, you are trying to trick us.
She's like, hey, you're trying to hone in on our action here. We're the Misfits. We don't take kindly to you stealing our spotlight.
Pizzazz says that Stormer saved Kimber's life, so she owes her, which kind of is true.
But it doesn't mean anything in the context of the conversation.
That you know what? That doesn't make any sense at all. I was thinking to myself, yeah, it does. And I went, wait, no, it fucking doesn't.
It has something to do with, like, the flow of the conversation is Pizzazz or Roxy going, don't listen to her, Stormer. And then, yeah, I think Pizzazz going, yeah, you saved her life. And then it's just, she owes you. Like, owes what? Like, what are you trying to say?
Owes her to rescind that offer of friendship, I guess.
And then Aja just blurts out, well, who do you think saved Stormer from the warthogs? Aja, you fuck, what are you doing?
Pizzazz is like, a fucking elephant did. You don't control the elephants. And Pizzazz is right there.
That is correct, because
in a sane universe, they do not control the elephants.
Aja does not control the elephants, nor do Jem and the holograms. So status quo basically returns, like, moments after everyone is on this boat. You know, everybody's feeling like they're going to punch each other. Jerica and Rio seem to be okay with this, I guess.
Rio's like, guess everything's back to normal, and Jerica's like, and how? It's really not very funny.
And that's the end of the episode.
There is first an encore of Set Your Sails, because you know what song I really want to hear again? That one.
That big ol' classic Gem and the Hologram song about a boat.
But it is followed up by It Takes a Lot, so things are okay.
So yeah, that's a pretty nice way to end the episode. I think It Takes a Lot is definitely, if it ended with Set Your Sails, I would have been pissed. So there we go. That was Island of Deception, and...
yeah, it's like, oh thanks, bringing us down.
And I mean, it's an episode that, again, very contentious, a lot of weird shit happening, a lot of... I really like episodes where we can see more of the Misfits and the Holograms interacting, because they play off each other very well, but all of them...
when they're not constantly at each other's throats, yes, sometimes we get new things. Fun things happen.
Possible friendships being forged between a blue-haired girl and a pink-haired girl. Like a salmon pink-haired girl, not a normal pink-haired girl, because Jem...
yeah, Joe. Friendships.
Like 90 air quotes friendships.
Gal pals.
I'm not going to escalate it further than that. Oh, boy. All right. Well, you know, I like episodes like that. It's just so dumb. So, like, I know, Kristen, you like to say a lot, that episode was dumb. And this episode, this is the first time I can legitimately say that the dumbness of an episode got in the way of my enjoyment of it, I think. You
feel like this episode was truly dumb? It earned that, instead of me just using dumb as an adjective to describe basically everything?
I mean, Jem's plot, Angus Bean, the whole way that they got out onto the island in the first place, it's all so stupid.
The very romantic drowning.
It's all so stupid.
It's pretty stupid.
Whatever. Now's the point in the evening where we will list off all of the fun contact things where you can find us, starting off, of course, with the Twitter machine, at CWTAPod. You can follow me at Octopus, that is AWKTAPUS.
You can follow me at FunnyGirlTM, like trademark.
You can find us on the iTunes, on the SoundCloud, on the Stitcher Radio. Leave a rating, give a review, do whatever you feel like. You know, just reach us, Gmail, CWTApod gmail.com, where you can tell us all about long con lies you've told on deserted islands, or how the hell the Gemstar earrings work.
Please explain it to us.
Next week, Kristen, old meets new. It is one of the few episodes that Kristen and I cheated on and watched like a few weeks ago. Just kind of bored. We just ended up kind of watching what was ahead instead of going in blind like we have a few times so far.
Eating mini M&Ms, watching Gem and the Holograms.
Always a fun time. It's another Kimber episode, so this is our third Kimber episode in 4 episodes, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, great!
And the first of at least 2 where she forms a deep bond with an old guy.
And, I mean, like, this time, old meets new. It's some rock legend, whatever. Who's it gonna be next? Pizzazz's dad? That would be fucked up.
Old meets new. It's like when Harry met Sally, except Jesus Christ. Jeez. Fuck. I don't ever want to have the visual of Kimber faking an orgasm in a diner. And Zipper being the part of the old lady who goes, I'll have what she's having.
I should make you take that out of this podcast.
I have upset myself greatly.
I do not co-sign my name to what he just wrote there. For shame.
I have upset everyone greatly, including myself, to an incredible degree. We gotta, again, get me out of this podcast. I'm distraught. For the Can We Talk About podcast, my name is Joe.
I'm Kristen. I'm not coming back next week.
Oh, a throwback to the first episode.
Yep. And now I'm really upset.
Join us next time for some more Gem and the Holograms.
Checks in the mail.